Hey everyone. So this is John. I'm playing Immaculate Grid number 5. As I promised, I actually just played it, and the video corruption happened. I didn't get it. I was very confident in a player. I'll explain it as I do it. Anyway, that's why you'll see it. It's in incognito mode. I just played and lost. So I'll explain what I did. I'll try to get it the second time around. Still, I think I can try to reason through a lot more. You'll see why I struggled because uh, I'll just start sharing now. Hey, it's Gold Gloves. I always struggle with Gold Gloves. So I'm gonna walk through my. I had a good thing going, so I want to make sure I walk through the process again. But yeah, I didn't get it, and I'll explain why. So I'm just gonna start with the Cy Young Awards. So the Cy Young Awards for the Cubs. Actually, I didn't go back and check, but I'm pretty sure the only four Cy Young awards for the Cubs are are Bruce Sutter, Rick Sutcliffe, Greg Maddux in his final year of his first stint with the Cubs, and then Jake Arrieta in 2015. I think that's all. And I talked about, and I'll talk again about Rick Sutcliffe's 1984 season because I think it's pretty awesome. He would actually work over here. But I think the cool thing about Sutcliffe's 1984 season is he kind of got credit for a full season's worth of work in the sense that because he only pitched 20 games with the Cubs. He pitched the rest of his time at the American League with Cleveland. Didn't pitch particularly well with Cleveland. Traded to the Cubs. He pitches very well, goes 16-1, sub 3 ERA. Cubs win the division. Narrative all works. But he only pitched 20 games. Dwight Gooden, who was a 19-year-old rookie, struck out almost 300 people and had about the same ERA in a full season. So I think Sutcliffe, it was like the best of both worlds, where it's like, hey, he did pitch the full season. He got 30 or 20 wins, and so his man card's intact. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but that Cleveland stuff doesn't count. We're only looking at the 16-1 record with Chicago. So anyway, the reason I didn't go with Sutcliffe was he was a broadcaster with ESPN, so I just think that's going to be more popular than Bruce Sutter. So that's why I went with Bruce Sutter. And then for the Brewers, I went with Pete Vukovich. The other options are Raleigh Fingers, who has his number retired. He's in the Hall of Fame. He won an MVP that same season. So for all those reasons, I didn't go with Raleigh Fingers, and the most recent choice would be Corbin Burns. Teddy Higuera's 1986 season is probably the best in Brewers history, but it was the same year Roger Clemens had his first Cy Young win and won the MVP in the same year to boot. So, yep, that's Pete Vukovich, but that's still double digits because there's only three options. And for the Mets, this one was kind of interesting. Your choices, unless I'm forgetting someone, your choices are Tom Seaver, Dwight Gooden. So Seaver won it thrice, Gooden 1985, R.A. Dickey, and then Jacob DeGrom. Um, I think it's kind of a balance between recency and like excellence. I think if you're going based on recency, you go Jacob DeGrom. Excellence, Dwight Gooden's 1985 season. If you look at the best seasons of all time by wins above replacement, by pitchers and hitters, you see something like 20-ish 19th century people with glorious mustaches, Babe Ruth, Walter Johnson. So all black and white photos, and then Dwight Gooden. That's how good his 1985 season was. Um, but I think the optimal, you know what? Just because I think I got a 12% playing R.A. Dickey. Let's see how Dwight Gooden does. Just to just to see because that's not particularly recent. And if you're going old school, you probably go Seaver because he won three of them. So let's see how Gooden's 85 season does. Okay, a lot better. He gets 27%. Okay. It's all good because I'm not I'm admitting right here now this is me redoing it, which is why I'm using another browser. I'm using incognito mode for my other browser. So for Cleveland and the Cubs, I went Germany Schaefer because he I came across him when I missed on Cubs and Tigers. I didn't want to play Javi Baez. I took a shot. I lost, and then I like saw the names, and I was like, "Huh, there haven't actually been that many prominent players who played on both these very old teams." Came across Germany Schaefer. He played like a game with Cleveland, so that's how I came across that. Um, Also relevant is that Jeremy Brunitz works for all three of these, and he's my favorite player. I've got a picture of me and him right over there. I even joked in the last one. I guess I'll just joke again. It's like there's low production value. I get corrupted video files. I don't have producer. Maybe I should just get up, walk over, get the picture, come back. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna play Jeremy Brunitz down here though, and I'm gonna go with Ron Valone. Well, Ron Valone is who I went with in the previous video, and he got like zero point 0.2. That seemed like weirdly high. Some other options would include Rick Manning, Kevin Seitzer. Burnitz would also work, as I mentioned. Marquise Grissom, that's who Ron Valone was traded for. Bob Wickman would work. Steve Woodard was in the same trade as Bob Wickman. Richie Sexson was in that trade as well. Richie Sexson will work. Carlos Santana will work. That's a recent example. Let's try out Steve Woodard. Let's see if he does better than the 0.2% that Ron Valone netted me. 0.07. Oh, all right. So he's 3 times or 1/3 as likely as Ron Valone. Um, and then before I messed up in the last game, I did get Sixto Lizcano. He was 1.0. I'm gonna try George Boomer Scott because I know he also won Gold Gloves in the mid 70s with the Brewers. I think plural. Also 1%. Okay. And then so where I messed up in the last grid was I went with Manny Trio here. I think his Gold Gloves, I guess, were all with Philadelphia. Um, I thought he'd won like one with both Chicago and Philadelphia, but I was off on that. I knew he only won Silver Sluggers with Philadelphia. Anyway, I was wrong about that. Um, and then I'd gotten that wrong, and then I kind of threw down Ray Ordonez for the Mets Gold Glove, and that took 10%. Um, so in any event, let me see if I can improve upon that. Um, and fully acknowledging that I've already lost on this exact grid today, in case anyone wants to call me out on cheating. Let's see. So other Cubs. So Sandberg, I think, was the most popular. I'm trying to think, was Bobby Shantz after playing for he played for the A's, he won some Gold Gloves with the Yankees, and he bounces around, I think, with St. Louis and Houston. I don't know that he hits Chicago or New York during that time. I feel like Robin Ventura probably worked. I've gotten burned by Ventura in the Mets before. I think on like grid number 2 or something like that. But I said he was an all-star, which he was not. But I think he was a Gold Glove winner. Very much surprised me if he was not a Gold Glove winner. Um, and then maybe Gary Carter. Better believe Greg Maddux is going to work here. Man, why do I struggle so much with the Gold Gloves? I'll even look them up, and then they won't come up for a while. I'll just forget about them. Let's try Ventura here. See if I'm right about that. 1%. All right. It's 1/10 what Ray Ordonez was. And then Gold Glove for the Cubs. Leon Durham, I want to say it's a Silver Slugger, but not a Gold Glove. I know Maddox will work. I just think it'll be too high. You know what? Maddox might be an interesting choice because you've got him for Cy Young, but then Jake Arrieta is probably the biggest one for Cy Young. I don't know if Hayward ever won a Gold Glove in Chicago. He was kind of a disappointment as a Cub, but I don't know. I'm thinking maybe Mark Grace. Let's see. Santo will work. Ron Santo will work. I'm very sure he won Gold Gloves in the 60s. Yeah, let's try Ron Santo. 4%. All right. So I think I might have been missing a Cy Young winner here. Who did I not know about? Oh, Fergie Jenkins did win a Cy Young. Okay. I thought he hadn't. I knew he finished second one year with Texas, and I assumed he had a number of second place finishes. But I think Suter was going to be better that Fergie Jenkins was a more famous Cub. I thought he had a bunch of near misses. I think he did, but he also got that. Um, and then just cause I'm gonna look up Manny Trio, just because I want to see, because that's where I messed up in the previous game. Because he's pictured as a Cub, and I know he won Silver Sluggers and Gold Gloves. Won two Silver Sluggers, three Gold Gloves, all with Philadelphia. He was an all-star with Chicago, so I guess I'll keep that in my back pocket. All right. Man, I thought Trio won something with, I guess he was just an all-star and a third place rookie of the year getter with the Cubs. All right. Well, second time's the charm. Thanks a lot for playing and hanging with me through a day of some technical difficulties. I enjoy putting this on, even though this is about the extent of the quality of the production you're going to get. But I appreciate you tuning in regardless. You have a good rest of your Sunday. Um, and I'm going to stop sharing. Maybe it'll pop up over there. No, it doesn't this time. Great. Yeah, be back at it tomorrow. Peace.